The gate of intuitive clarity is a Libra placement between 15 and 20 degrees. In this video, we're going to go through the deep dive of what it means when you have it in your human design body graph as well as your astrological birth chart. My name is Brenna. Welcome back. I'm a human design reader, astrologer, and psychic of almost 10 years now, teaching you how to use all of this information in a practical way to help it make more sense to you. So without further ado, let's get into what is the core essence of these Libra placements, later-ish degree Libra placements, as well as gate 57 in human design. So gate 57, as it is known, as I mentioned just before, is the gate of intuitive clarity. And when we're focusing on this gate placement, we want to look at what chakra it sits in, which is the one that is our spleen. It holds our primal instincts and fears. Now, this intention of this gate placement, or the essence of this gate placement rather, is all about having the intention of being extremely present and having an awareness to the somatics of your body and what your body is telling you. You want to be paying attention, or are somebody who is going to be paying attention and hypersensitive to sounds in your environment, what your body is physically telling you, emotionally telling you, and psychically telling you as well. So if you've been looking to heighten your psychic gifts and you're somebody with this placement, you want to focus on the sounds, the energy that's vibrating through you at any given time, because that is going to make you very sensitive in general, but even more sensitive to understanding how your psychic gifts and intuition are really going to be working in your favor. You're somebody that is actually perceived as being somebody that has selective hearing. You're always listening with your right ear. See how you kind of like lean forward a little bit more in your chair or turn your right ear to listen to somebody. This also is a placement that indicates that you're somebody who has selective hearing or can appear to have selective hearing only because you know exactly what's right for you at any given moment. It's not meant to upset or cause issues with any other person, but rather just to kind of highlight that you know what is best for you and you're not worried about proving your point, proving your image to other people because you know you best at the end of the day. Sometimes you can appear tone deaf to others. You're also somebody that is aware that if you miss that window of that small yet strong, tiny but mighty voice talking to you, the ship has sailed. It's hard for you to go back once you have gone past what you knew was intuitively correct. Now, what I'm also going to do, and what I usually do in this gate deep dives, is read from Chetan Parkin, a little excerpt, because he also writes really well about human design, and I find that it adds another layer to these teaching videos. Specifically, he calls it the gate of the gentle. So you are like a gentle but chilled wind which cuts to the bone, penetrating other people's auras and the environment around you, detecting harmony or disharmony. Your sharp intuition is constantly updating what is going on around you to safeguard your well-being. People with whom you engage in social interaction could be forgiven for thinking you're not listening or paying attention, but your gentle senses will already have read them perfectly, or your gentle persuasion will have seeped in and turned them around. Your intuition and your inner sense latches onto the sound of what you're hearing to decide its merit or interest, tuning into the tone and inflection in someone's voice and the general sounds around you. Anything abrupt or harsh can trip up the intuition of your highly sensitive nature. We live in a world of mayhem and chatter. This is like the understatement of the century, especially now. And yet you walk through it so gently, guided by what appeals to you and administering slow and gentle change. There is a subtle, gently does it approach to your life and the influence you wield. Your nature is acoustically sensitive, and music needs to be in harmony for you. Plain noise can easily bother you, and you will often tune out from people with discordant, whining voices, especially if you sense an underlying agendas and potential complications. Your senses are heightened by an inherent attention to the future and even a fear of it. If these what if fears take hold, you can be like a rabbit in headlights or deer in headlights, and this can destabilize you, especially if your spleen center is undefined. This is the time to trust your authority. Don't be put off by the ways in which you are confronted in life. Trust your intuition and move gently towards challenges because that is your nature. So just another beautiful summary and a different way to kind of hear the multifaceted layers of this gate placement. You also are going to notice in your human design body graph that there is a number 1 through 6 at the end of that gate placement in your chart. And we do transit through 6 days. Each day we have a gate 57 in the first line, 57 in the second line, so on and so forth through each day, those days of the week. And that's where you're going to see that you were born. That what that indicates is that you were born on the first day of a gate 57 transit, a second day of a gate 57 transit, or on your design side, that is when your soul was born on the first day of a gate 57 transit, etc. So I'm going to read to you from my notes here. I spent some time just doing a little bit of a psychic download and intuitive guided session when I was writing my notes to be able to walk through this teaching video for you about how to further understand the exaltations, the detriments, and the multifaceted way that you're walking through these placements for yourself, and how you're going to be able to attend to the energy a little bit more appropriately to make sure you're highlighting the gifts that you have. So gate 59 in the first line is known as the line of confusion. And what I put here is that you're somebody that finds inner meaning by listening to your intuition, but you can also be somebody that checks into your feelings over reality. So I wrote anxiety. It is yours or the person. Is it yours or is it the other person you're picking up on? Because you are somebody who is psychically aware, so psychically aware, you're paying attention to the fact like, okay, is this somebody's anxiety that I'm tapping into? Because psychically I'm picking up on my neighbors, somebody that maybe had a traumatic death on the other side, and I'm feeling them in my energy and in my space. Or is this actually mine that I have to tend to? Maybe I had too much coffee today and I didn't drink enough water. Paying attention to that, but ultimately you're getting to the sense of finding an inner deeper meaning by listening to your intuition, understanding when you are, for me, I'm Brenna the psychic, but I'm also Brenna the wife and Brenna the daughter and Brenna the friend, etc., and really being able to compartmentalize your life. So that's gate 59, gate 57, excuse me, in the first line. The second line, the hermit line, gate 57.2, you're someone who's confident in your intuitive gifts and your power. You're somebody who also has strong values. If somebody comes up to you, say, when you're doing your psychic gifts or intuition practice in real life, this has happened to me, and they say, Jesus loves you, words to that effect. You can come at it with a place of knowing that you have strong values and have a compassionate, loving conversation with that person, right? That's from personal experience. You end up finding that there are people who are more willing to hear you when they also feel heard themselves, because everyone's just looking to be heard in some way, shape, or form. Now, the opposite of this, what I was channeling and paying attention to and all the writings that I was doing, is it could be also a lack of integrity. So kind of like a corset or a tapestry, where a tapestry looks really beautiful on the front, but there's all these like frayed edges or loose ends on the backside where no one really sees what's happening, or all the dirt and grime that's swept under the rug, or behind the tapestry. Just being able to focus on being somebody that you don't always have to put so much pressure on yourself to have for it to look like you know what you're doing. You have the ability to actually know what you're doing and to pursue that more strongly. So just something to pay attention to with gate 57 in the second line. Gate 57 in the third line is known as the line of acuteness. You'll see that across human design rhetoric. And so essentially the essence of this placement is being so clear on your vision that you'll manifest your dreams no matter what. There's no detriment to this gate placement. There's only an exaltation, basically meaning that you are somebody that really can show us through the trial and errors of life how you're able to persevere no matter what, because your vision is so strong. You trust your intuition explicitly, where you're able to proceed no matter what. Gate 57 in the fourth line is known as the line of the director. You're somebody who really manages relationship dynamics, energetics of relationships, how to make sure that we just have a lot of balance. Libra is the scales after all. And gate or line 4, whenever we have that placement, is people who are always making sure it's the opportunist line, that they're seizing an opportunity for harmony and not a lot of distrust. So paying attention to that. Basically, the detriment aspect of this is having control freak energy, or being afraid that you aren't somebody who's able to keep your grip on people so tightly, or have good healthy relationships, that you feel that like, oh my gosh, almost an anxious attachment style. I have to dig my claws into this person in order for them to love me. So just paying attention and watching out for that, or where that can come about for you, because that's not a good use of this placement. Gate 57 in the fifth line, for this placement, you're always somebody who's intuitively aware of how something can grow and how it can be refined and improved. So with this placement, right, you are somebody that has a beautiful energy to be able to just see what needs beautifying, what needs prioritizing, what needs to be reworked in a business plan that people already thought that they had considered every option. You're always going to be somebody that's kind of like a detective. This is the line of the messenger. where you're able to communicate more effectively how you can do this, or how somebody can refine their messaging, how you can be somebody that's a refiner or a creator of your own in some way, shape, or form. But you're never meant to be the legs in the relationship and go ahead and say, I know that you're sick and I know that you can go to a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor. That kind of energy. It's a little bit more of a dramatic example, but just to paint the picture more clearly. In the detriment, you would be somebody that would be going through the motions, or what you could be prone to is somebody who's going through the motions and is kind of unable to understand that if you take a beat to think about where your energy would be best served, that's what you want to be focusing on with this gate placement. Don't let your nervousness or any kind of struggle in helping yourself to identify what needs to be corrected lead to more anxiety or feeling like you're falling forward through your day, is the way that I always word that. Gate 57 in the sixth line is known as the line of utilization. And so knowing more can make us depressed. We always know this is actually the exaltation I always refer to. I believe it was Albert Einstein, because he's also a Pisces, that basically said that the more you know, the more depressed you become, right? That's kind of the essence of this gate placement. But it's learning how to make the best decision, even out of a circumstance where there really is no best decision. If it's, I said the detriment of this, and the example I'll give for this placement is basically being somebody that sees that somebody needs help, but you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped, right? Especially when we go through struggles of people who are addicts in our lives or things along those lines. It could be a struggle to you want better for them, but if they don't want better for themselves, and you could spend all the money, sending them to rehab or facilities where they could get better, if they are not serious about taking care of themselves and following a protocol of what they have to do, it's a lost cause, and you end up living for somebody else that doesn't even want to live for themselves anyway, at the expense of you. So just paying attention to that. It's not letting yourself get angry or frustrated when you are somebody that is leaning into that energy of wanting to be of service, but where the scales are now becoming way too unbalanced, just paying attention to that. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this Gate 57 deep dive. I hope that you enjoyed it. As always, you can get a free copy of your human design body graph in the comments below. And if you have any questions about your human design body graph but don't feel ready to book a full session, you can just send me a text message, or we can do an audio call for $1 per message over on Pop Call, which is also in the show notes below if you're interested. Don't forget to subscribe, to turn on the notification bell for all things human design, psychic related, astrology related, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a beautiful day.